All right. Good morning.
Morning.
This is our Lola podcast, and we have here Danette Hurley, who is going to frequent the podcast. She too is on her journey, and I am going to be interviewing her. As in turn, she's probably one day going to interview me. We are just starting this journey. We are skilled in very many different areas of our lives. But this is an absolute brand new journey for us. And we are very excited. We both have stories that we're going to share along the way. And we're going to get right into it. So Danette, tell us a little bit about yourself personally.
I have been in the counseling field for many, many years, but way before that, stay-at-home mom, 4 years while I worked on my education. Also helped any women's group, church group, all of the things. Have felt like I was a helper since childhood, probably. And during that time, have just had the opportunity to be involved in many different things. A lot of things having to do with my children. I have 5 total, 4 and a bonus child that I've gotten to be a big part of his life. Now have 4 grandchildren and entering a new phase of my life, even though I feel like it's one I've been prepared for with each other phase of my life.
Good. So you are wanting to start in like this new journey in life. Can you tell us a little bit about what prompted this new journey? And we are 1,000% authentic and transparent. We might get a little raw.
Yeah. So get ready. Lots of things. I've had a lot of challenges in my life, like most people that we see, and most women we encounter in particular. I would say probably, at this point, I feel like, this might be the best spot I've ever been in my life. It seems like everything has come together. When I see clients, I tell them, when I talk to you, I'm gathering puzzle pieces to kind of see what your life looks like. And like mine is looking solid right now. And I'm enjoying that for sure. Solid for sure.
The most freedom you've had.
Most freedom for sure.
Hopefully you'll be able to give some of the women following us those tools as far as when you feel like you're caved in or you're trapped, like to hold steady, because that freedom does come. It's not every day, all day, but there is freedom in the journey. You have your master's degree, right?
I do. I have my master's degree in psychology. I have a bachelor's degree. You'll find out I'm a little bit of an overachiever. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology with a double minor in sociology and social work. I did postgraduate work with Lindsay Wilson College that I worked for as well. I work in counselor education there. Then my mental health work here at Serenity Counseling Center in Gallatin. Throughout each stage of my life, though, I feel like it's prepared me for this. And there have been plenty of times that I felt like, I'm like, this is it. This is the best it's ever going to be. And it wasn't so great. It wasn't terrible because I tend to make the best out of everything. But it definitely wasn't where it is now. And just I think one of the things I would share specifically with women, just because I am a woman, is just to keep stepping in whatever direction you think you're supposed to be going in, even if it doesn't feel like you're making much progress.
Yeah. So what has been one of the biggest challenges of your life?
Hmm.
Thought provoking.
It is thought-provoking for sure. Hmm. I would like to point out some people in my life that maybe have been the biggest challenges, but you know what? That still comes back to me. Like maybe I've been my biggest challenge, you know, not, just being unsure of the direction, and that feels scary, or, maybe even feeling like I have all this information that's really worked for me, but how do I know that's going to help someone else?
Yeah, so a little bit of self-doubt as far as you're called to do something, but it's worked for you. Like, how do you still encourage people, like, even though it happened to you, like, your story is worth telling, like, and working through, like, I like the fact that you said I've been my biggest challenge, because as we grow, you also learn you're the key holder to your happiness. And we can point out a whole bunch of people, but none of them really fulfill that internal satisfaction.
Right.
So, what are your hopes, like, to communicate in this new journey to other people, as far as challenges are going to come? Like, do you keep on living, or do you handle that challenge first and then just wait for life to get a hold of you again? Like, because it's coming.
It's coming. I think one of the, at least for me, I kept thinking, if you are just good enough, if I just do all the right things, then everything's going to fall into place. That's not really life. Like, there's a lot of things that go on that do not fall into place. So like for me, I can remember like this revelation, probably in late 20s, early 30s, that A plus B does not equal C. Like, if I do this and I do this, then I'm going to get this. Well, that's not life. Life is difficult, and we go through difficult things. And I think one of the biggest things that I feel like I at least do through counseling is I can be support for people when they're going through difficult times. But sometimes that's the education that I needed back in my late 20s, early 30s, that life is tough. It's really difficult. And to think that, you know, the goal is to not have any challenges, you're never going to reach that goal. Right. Life is full of challenges. Right. And so I think probably what I hope to do from here forward, indulge me, I'm going to talk for a minute. For a minute longer. So we're at this conference this weekend, and it's a conference for makers and creators. So wasn't even really there for myself, was there for my partner. But while I'm sitting there and they're discussing like different ways to get traffic to your website, ways to, you know, just all these different things for creators, I thought, wait a minute, I've already done this. So like I was a recruiter for Lindsey Wilson College for a little while. And so I'm a recruiter for them. I already did that. And then I think about ways to help people and encourage people. I'm already doing that. And then I think about just caring and educating. I'm already doing that. Yeah. So I thought of it as like this big container of all these things that I'm already doing, but it's like I have dividers on all of them. And what I see for the future, and this is just a little bit I get to see, and that's one of the things I think that is worthy to know. Like, you don't always get to see the big picture. You just get little pieces, and you have to step through those. Right. So maybe it looks like I'm pulling the dividers off of all the things I've already done. And they've layered each other until I'm able to take all of this and help even more people. Because ultimately for me, like, that's the goal, is to get to be able to help as many people as I can for as long as I'm alive.
Yeah.
And I think for us, in the helping field, one of the exciting things is I'm never bored because I tend to get bored easy.
She has like 20 jobs.
Little exaggeration, not much. But the other thing is that it's important for us to be lifelong learners.
Mm-hmm.
So being able, stepping out and me going to that conference that I thought didn't apply to me, but it's already prepared. It's already sitting there waiting for me to get whatever revelation I need to give from that. Okay, I don't know if that even answered your question.
Very creative. So a lot of women that I'm wanting to like interview for, this journey is to support, to give tools, but most of all, like there is a great awakening or moment that happens in life that makes you think, I think this could change the trajectory of how I look at things or how I move towards some things in life. Mine is, I have decided that I've been through a very painful journey and that I'd like to make it my purpose. Robin Roberts always talks about let your mess be your message. Do you have one?
I have lots of messes.
Well, you like
I might save some of those for later, but I will be 60 on March 17th. Whoop, whoop. And so obviously you don't get to be 60 without having a lot of challenges and painful things that happen in your life. I've been through very, very life-changing divorce that, made me look at life in a different way and made me, for a little while, maybe look at people in a different way and caused me to challenge. But there's been some really positive things that's come out of that. I mean, this is, maybe I had a bit of a Pollyanna, everything's going to be all right as long as I just keep on keeping on. Yeah, that's not true. It's good to have a positive focus, but it's important for us to be in and process through pain and difficulties that come in our lives.
What did it take for you to look at people differently again? Or to trust?
I think in general, and that's that Pollyanna thing too, I think in general I have a pretty positive attitude. And going through that, I remember thinking to myself, I hope that I don't become cynical. But I still kind of let myself be in that place of funk for a little while. And that got real uncomfortable for me. Being in the funk, being in the looking at everything through that negative lens. And so honestly, through like therapy myself and seeking out support of other people that had been through difficult times, or maybe hadn't been through difficult times, but were a good support system. Yeah. And so that helped me to get through it. And all my kids, like you have to get up. Moms, dads, whoever it is, after you've been through a difficult time, you have to pull yourself up, whatever that takes. And so that doesn't just mean, I don't tell people to just pull yourself up by your bootstraps, not that. Go seek out whatever help you might need to help you through that. And I think everybody's an individual and unique, and we have to figure out what works for us.
Do you believe that there has to be a level of will and want? Because you can encourage somebody, go, you have to do this and you got to try this but if somebody doesn't like, sometimes depression is real and you don't have that will or that want. Like, do you believe that is real? Like, where people don't want to use their resources or pull themselves up or get out of the bed.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely true. And sometimes it really is depression. And I think, we can tell somebody all day long, but really what that looks like, at least from the therapy position or the therapist position, is to be able to help them to figure out like what are the little steps I can take? Like I can give you a checklist of things. If you do these things, you're going to feel better. But if you didn't come up with those solutions on your own, unlikely you're going to incorporate it into your life.
So there's got to be some accountability.
There has to be
skin in the game.
There has to be, and there has to be. I mean, that's what we want. Our job as helpers in the world, not just as therapists, is to help people be their authentic self and be self-sufficient. It's not our job to keep clients forever. If we do our job, clients are with us for a time and then they move on and are able to be self-sufficient.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important.
Yeah. When did you identify that you were different, when you say not even as a counselor, but we're helpers of this world? When do you feel or is there anything in life that happened that made you understand just your position in life? I have a designation to be a counselor, but I'm a helper of this world.
This is just my experience, but I hear it from a lot of other people as we have students come through the counseling program, as we have people sit in the client seat, and people I've come in contact with that are helpers as well. Not always, but a lot of times that comes from a place of difficulty or pain, whatever that looks like. I think I knew, it's going to sound crazy. I think I knew probably first or second grade.
They're all fair.
I became comfortable in being that person in the family, being the helper person in the family. It came out of necessity. Wouldn't recommend it for anybody, but it came out of necessity, and I kind of took on that role. But when we do that with our family of origin, we tend to move into situations or choose partners that might have that same neediness because that's where we feel comfortable. And so then realizing, wait a minute, I've been given this gift, because I do feel like it's a gift to be able to help and connect with people. But it has to be changed into a healthy manner to be able to use it.
Right.
And so that's kind of part of the process. Therapy helps with that. Just getting knocked down enough times helps you go, wait a minute, this isn't right. This person seems to be doing just fine. I'm not okay anymore.
Right.
So kind of moving into that place. There was a really difficult time, and we mentioned this the other day when we were talking, when I was in therapy, and my marriage at the time was, we were having difficulties, a lot of difficulties. And so I'm in therapy and I'm trying to figure out, what I'm doing with my life in general. Have all these baby kids running around and trying to meet their needs and all that. But my therapist looked at me and said, when are you finishing those last few classes so you can be a therapist? And I said, I don't think I am. I can't help myself. I sure can't help anybody else.
Yeah.
And as I look back, it's startling to me that I could have made a decision at that point that would have stopped me from being where I am today. And it would have been real easy to make, because I would have had 10 excuses, difficult marriage, kids are young and they need me, everything. There's all this stuff going on. And so I could have gotten by with it. And I mentioned being an overachiever. I would have found something else to do and I would have been successful at that, but I wouldn't have been in the place where I am right now. And this could all change tomorrow because life does not stay the same. However, at this moment, I know that I'm exactly where I need to be.
Yeah. Did you ever get to a point where you had to make a choice because you had no choice? Like you had to make a decision on something. Like when you went to take the last few classes, do you feel like you had no choice or did you do it out of necessity, boredom? Let's see.
I think I had, I'm trying to think because like I did a lot of things out of necessity. I cleaned houses. I worked as a administrative assistant. So sorry, wasn't that great at that, but I did the best I could. They probably thought I was good, but all kinds of whatever I had to do as a single mom to take care of my kids. I think once I started learning more about myself, I think I started recognizing that sooner or later this is where I would be. Yeah. Not this, like I want everybody to know, like, you don't get the full vision. Like I didn't know this is what it's going to look like. I just kept taking one step after another, paying attention to opportunities that come up. And as they came, not letting any kind of fear stop me from doing that.
Yeah. I was featured in Adam Hamilton's book on fear. And it was in 2018 or 2019 before I went through the most fearful transition of my life. Do you ever feel like at any point you were like perpetrating a fraud? Like, I know I'm scared, but like you said, I've got to take them in front of others.
Oh, yeah. Everybody, few weeks, so things coming up. I don't know, the whole anybody being able to see it, I don't know about that because I think I have a pretty good poker face. And so I doubt anybody else do, but the inside of me, absolutely.
Yeah. Like when we did the women's retreat, like you were so nervous and like the projector was crooked. And at the end of the day, you provided so much information. No one cared that the projector light was here, but and everyone was so pleased with what you do. And we're in the same boat. We put so much emphasis on perfection as to, I believe in right timing, but I feel like us sitting here today has been so delayed. And I know it has been just fear, and it is so much fear it's so selfish. I don't know any other way to put it. It has everything to do with me. So like this fear or perpetrating a fraud, like this imposter syndrome. Are you familiar with that?
Most definitely. Aren't we all?
I've got a PhD.
We should probably talk about that though, because there's probably a lot of people who are unfamiliar, like they're familiar with the feeling, but they don't know it has a name. Yeah. So like imposter syndrome, the way that I interpret it, and tell me if yours is different, but is like not like feeling like you're pulling something off, like I look this way on the outside and everybody thinks I have these degrees, I have this, I have that, but on the inside, not feeling worthy of what everybody thinks about you, or not feel like you're going to be discovered. Like somebody's going to go, oh my goodness, we gave you 3 degrees. It's a mistake. You don't really have any degrees and you've been, So yeah, I think that's a real thing for a lot of people, no matter what it looks like,
Yeah. whether it's in your careers or I have so many women talk about like in the church, in your marriage, and especially what we do, like we're not like doing open heart surgery or anything, but we are impacting people's lives. In a sense, like people's lives are not in the palm of our hands, but like they're at our fingertips because people are so fragile and we make emotional decisions when you're fragile, and so I know like doing counseling, so many other counselors, they're like, I don't even operate this way at home. And like you said, like we have this gift. Not all counselors. I'm gonna put it out there. I said it. That there's this gift that comes with this, and how gifted you are, and how much you give, and then sometimes you reach back and think how you failed in your relationship with a sister or a child or a best friend. But here it is, you're saving all these other relationships. That's something I struggle with, and then that imposter syndrome of what makes me worthy to start a podcast? Why am I like, who do I think I am? So it is a lot of internal struggle, and that self-worth. But one thing you said was, when you begin to live life and keep putting one foot in front of the other, and you take risks, face fears, but most importantly, what you said is when you get to know yourself. And that is what I'm hoping in this journey, to help other women get to know themselves. And the more I feel like we get to know ourselves by community, speaking with other women, the better we are going to be to make good decisions for ourselves. That's with our health, with our children, with our family, our friends, our careers. I really hope that is the progress that this channel helps. And then, get to know yourself. Because there is that saying, if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. But if you don't know where you come from, you surely don't know where you're going. And that's part of getting to know ourselves. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
I don't think so.
You don't think?
And I'm sure we'll get the opportunity to share later.
Absolutely.
Because when you were saying the last part, I thought, work-life balance. That'll be something good for next time.
Work-life balance. Yeah. Well, we'd like to thank you for joining in. We hope that you subscribe to both of our channels and follow us on social media. We really do feel that we have a strong calling and passion for what we do. And we just hope that you are blessed in the journey. And remember to always be authentic and transparent. What you're dealing with, so is somebody else. So thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.